Hey there! Today we're gonna make eggnog because the holidays are upon us and there really is no other beverage out there that says "'tis the season" like that sweet, creamy, thick concoction that for at least a few weeks of the year, some of us always drink a little too much of. Now I know some people get a little bit nervous about making eggnog at home because raw eggs and the threat of salmonella. But the way that I'm going to be making it today, we're going to take some extra steps to make sure that this is the safest possible way that you can make it. And it's also going to end up being, I think, one of the most delicious. So let's just get to it. Eggnog is just a mix of milk and cream and sugar, some spices, and of course, eggs. Every eggnog begins with preparing the eggs. And usually what you do is separate the egg yolks from the egg whites because you're only gonna be using the yolks when you're making the nog. And with today's recipe, it's really no different. But instead of using raw eggs, I'm gonna be using pasteurized egg yolks. And the reason I'm doing this is because one, it's much safer to work with. And two, it saves you a lot of time. Rather than cracking and separating and going through that whole mess, you just pour these guys in and it works perfectly. So for the first step, we're gonna need a mixing bowl and a whisk, and we're just gonna add in our egg yolks. It says 3 egg yolks equals a 1/4 cup. We're gonna be using 6 egg yolks in this recipe, so I'll need a 1/2 cup of the egg yolk. That is the equivalent of 6 egg yolks. Next, we're just gonna whisk it for about a minute. And you're gonna know when it's ready because it's gonna get a little bit lighter in color. Now it looks like it has gotten a little bit lighter, it's a little bit thicker, so we're gonna add in sugar. And for this recipe, we're gonna add in 1/2 cup of sugar. Now, you don't wanna dump all of the sugar in all at once, you just wanna slowly kind of whisk it in. Now after the sugar's in there, we're gonna whisk this for additional 2 minutes. You're gonna know when it's done because it's gonna get a lot lighter in color and it's also gonna be a lot thicker in consistency. We're almost looking for something that's custard-like here. Okay, this looks about done. It's like custard-like in consistency and it's a lot lighter in color. It's like a pale yellow now. So we're just gonna sit this aside. And now we're gonna work with the milk and the cream. And we're actually gonna be heating that up. So we're gonna need a saucepan and we are gonna add our cream and our milk. So I'll start with the cream. We're gonna add 3 cups to the saucepan. And remember, for a thinner eggnog, you can always use less cream. Then our milk. I don't really drink milk, so I only have milk for recipes like this. So we're gonna add 3 cups of whole milk to the saucepan. So equal parts, milk to cream. If you want, you could use a 1/2 and 1/2 because that's what 1/2 and 1/2 is 1/2 milk, 1/2 cream. You would just use 6 cups of 1/2 and 1/2. I'm gonna get my dairy back in the fridge. Next, we'll add some spices to it. We're gonna add 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. I put in 1 to 2 cloves. It's kind of optional. Little clove goes a long way. And of course, nutmeg. We're gonna grate in about a teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. And we'll whisk that in. Turn on the heat. We wanna go for about medium heat. What we're trying to do is get it up to about 165 degrees. So we don't want like a hard boil, but we're gonna know it's ready when it starts to steam a little bit. Okay, so it's starting to steam a little bit. We'll check the temperature and it looks like it's at 168. So that's right where we want it. We'll just kill the heat. Now we're ready to temper the eggs. So we're gonna add in about a 1/4 of this cream mixture. You wanna go slowly because you don't wanna scramble these eggs. Remember to whisk the entire time you're doing this. This is going to heat the eggs up so that we can add them to the mixture here in the last stage. Okay, once that's whisked in and this is nice and hot now from adding it, we're just gonna put the cream mixture back onto the heat. And then we'll just add in the egg mixture as we whisked it. And then we're just gonna turn the heat back on to medium. And we're gonna stir this pretty frequently until it reaches 175 degrees to 180 degrees. Okay, let's test the temperature. It's been about 3 or 4 minutes and we're at 180 degrees. So turn it off. Just slide this over. I don't have any trivets, but I have a cooling rack right there. Just put that on. All right, once that's cooled, we're just going to strain it through a sieve into a container because it's inevitable you're gonna have some solid bits if you brought this up to a high enough temperature. So we're just gonna pour that through the sieve into our storage container. And I can see some of the solid chunkies that are in there at the bottom. It's got like a custard consistency. That gets it going faster. Next we'll add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Give that a little stir. That is eggnog. So this is the base eggnog right here. You don't have to add alcohol to it. This will keep for about a week in the fridge, but all the eggnog that I'm serving up is alcoholic, so we're gonna add some booze to this. We got some bourbon, some Jamaican rum, some cognac. We're gonna add 5 ounces of Jamaican rum, 5 ounces of bourbon, and 2.5 ounces of cognac. Pop a little lid. Whoop. Looks like I got just under 2 quarts for this recipe. I think I could fill 2 bottles. I've only got 1 bottle handy at the moment. It's so much thicker than the aged version of it. It's a lot closer to what you get at like the grocery store out of a carton. I guess we're gonna have to try some of this. Of course, you need a little fresh nutmeg. Let's try it. Yes. Ah, that's good. That's a really good recipe. Like I said, I've had it a few different ways. I've had eggnog kind of the aged way, done really quickly. But this is the way that it's like the safest, and it tastes like what you're used to getting like from the grocery store out of a carton. Like thick, custardy, rich. The blend of the alcohols, perfect. I don't know what else to say. That's it. That's eggnog episode. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, all the stuff. I think we're done.